Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. This is the Tualatin Valley Community Band. We all are. Just so glad to have you here. Normally, I just jump right in. It's kind of my normal thing, but I'm going to just give a little bit of preface to kind of what you're going to hear today, because it is a little bit there's a theme here and there's an idea, so I want to give you kind of a preface. So the wind band, as you see it, and the band, or the wind band, as pretentious people like me call it, it really started kind of out of the military tradition. So the wind band started to be a thing kind of in the early 1900s. And you started to see music written for wind band right around that time, kind of the really big pieces for band, the Holst suites, and the Vaughan Williams folk song suite, and Granger's Lincoln Sherposy, all came out right in that kind of between the 10s and 20s in that era. But even then, we had some pieces written for band, but still a lot of this music, the vast majority of it still, was transcriptions, was orchestral music written for symphony orchestras that then someone would then transcribe into for the wind band. And that was what was really the main diet of the wind band for just many, 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 many years. And that's why we still see the terms symphonic band or wind symphony are really come out of that tradition. We're still playing music that's primarily written for orchestra, but made to fit for us. Well, in the early 50s, at the Eastman School of Music, the legendary Freddie Fennell decided he wanted to try something totally different. And he just came up with what's called the wind ensemble, which is mostly 1-2 apart, much smaller, but more flexible instrumentation. And then a lot of music started to be written for that group, and then eventually, as a large scale, written specifically for band, as we have oodles and tons of it now. But the roots of this group really are in playing symphonic music made to fit for us, which is a little bit strange, but also really rich, because then it gives this group, especially now, groups that have saxophones, which Beethoven never even heard of such a thing. So to have the opportunity to play music by these great master composers and still have that opportunity in the ensembles that we play in is really, really special, something that we still to this day do a good amount of, but sometimes not so much. So this concert is all music that is adapted from another medium. So 2 of these are for symphony orchestra, 2 of them are for an opera, and 1 of them is for choir. So you get to hear a little bit of everything, but we're really happy to have you here. And this is really, this has been a big undertaking for us, but we're really proud of the work. So this is Tualatin Valley Community Band. The first piece is the Overture to Egmont. Beethoven wrote it. He was contracted to write some incidental music to a play about Egmont that Goethe was writing, or had written. And originally, Goethe thought he was the wrong person because he did not like Beethoven's music. He thought it was too bombastic. And then they eventually worked together and eventually met and really became very respectful of each other, and they were really happy with the finished product. This is really the only piece that survives from any of that. The play isn't really remembered all that much anymore either, but this is what survives. So this is the Overture to Egmont by Beethoven, really massively transcribed by Mark Hindsley. what's really great, and I think I mentioned this, if you see my program notes, I try my program notes they're not super scholarly, they're a little more personal. But one thing I really noticed I love about this transcription is it still feels and definitely unmistakably sounds like Beethoven. And I think that's what's really cool about it. You can tell when it's a good transcription when they really continue to capture what it's really meant to sound like. So that's what I really just love so much. All right, this next one. This is the one that's adapted from a choral work. What's really interesting about this is the only one by a composer who's still alive. Which is not really, it's notable for Eric. I'm sure he's happy that's true. But it's a little more modern. You can feel it. It's definitely the most modern of the pieces. But it's really interesting in the story that it creates. I'm going to tell the story very quickly. It's a really funny one. Eric is primarily a choral composer and conductor. But he did this workshop with a good friend. If you've ever heard of Stephen Schwartz, they're friends, and he invited this workshop where the goal is to see if you can write music for movies. And he gets a call from DreamWorks that says, "Hey, we're doing this adaptation of Rudyard Kipling's The White Seal, and we'd love for you to write some music to go with it. So let's write a short test and see how it goes." And Eric's like, "This is great. This is big." And so he says, "So you write something," and he sends it off to them, and has no idea what happens to it. And he follows up and he goes, "Hey, I sent you this piece. I hope you liked it." And they said, "Oh, Eric, we loved it. We decided to go in a different direction." The different direction was they made Kung Fu Panda. So definitely a different direction. So he sat around and said, he used it to sing his son to sleep, and it really wasn't anything until a men's singing group or a choral group called him and said, "Hey, do you have anything that we'd love to have something for us?" He goes, "Actually, you know what? I got something." He set it for choir and became very popular in the choir world. And then a bunch of bands said, "Hey, wait a second, this is really cool. Can we get on this?" And what's really neat about the way he wrote this is he didn't just take what he wrote, put it orchestrate into band and call it good. He adapted it, changed it, really made the kind of the piano the center of the piece melodically, and really made a whole new work. And not just a trend. So it's really more an adaptation, and it's really just a beautiful piece of music. This is the Seal Lullaby by Eric Whitacre. It's so great. It's just a lovely piece of music. It's really great. All right, the last one of this first. This is a little bit shorter in a number of pieces than we normally do per half, but as you can tell, some of these are fairly strenuous. So we're trying to give everyone a chance to rest. This last one of this first half. If I were to dub one piece in the pantheon of transcriptions from orchestra to band, or from this case opera from the band, this is the one. This is the transcription of Elsa's Procession to the Cathedral. It's from the opera Lohengrin by Wagner. This is the one that is, if you had asked someone which is the kind of the big one, this is it. This is the one that kind of really has endured, has been played by every major band all over the world, and really just it's one of the things that I think that sometimes band people get a little bit prickly when you talk about transcriptions, because they really want to say, well, we have our own medium, which is true, we have our own medium, but darn if we're not really happy that we get a chance to play stuff like this. Like, this is just really, really special. So we've done this. This is the second time I've done this with this group, and it's really I could conduct this piece every day for the rest of my life. The players may not enjoy it every day for the rest of their lives, but for me, I would love it. So this is really just special. I hope you enjoy it. This is Elsa's Procession to the Cathedral. You can read the notes. Elsa's not happy about this wedding. She's really not so. It's very solemn. It's not joyful, but it is in the end. She's not happy about the wedding. She's not like really, but she is not. It's not a real joyous moment. And so even in the end, what music, it doesn't come. It's not sad, but it's certainly not really joyful either. It's so full of expectance. So I hope you enjoy it more than Elsa did. Thank you so much. We're going to take a little break. They need to rest. I need to rest. But thank you so much for being here. We'll be back in a few minutes. It's a little lighter to start at the second half. So see you in a few minutes. Oh, wonderful. I'm not joking. I can do that piece. I can constantly play that. That was great. That was great. Yeah. All right. Welcome back. Here's the second half. So when I first was kind of younger and getting into a little bit into orchestral music, the first composer I really interacted with was Shostakovich. And if you don't know a lot about his music, he was born in the Soviet Union and had a very conflicted relationship with the government and with. So his music is subversive and sometimes feels very nationalistic and very Soviet, but really he had a very complicated relationship. What's interesting about this piece we're playing is that it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. And this is it's for a group that we aren't sure exactly what it is, a variety stage orchestra, which I'm not exactly sure what that is. But this is, if you know anything about Shostakovich and if you look into his music, it's sometimes very dark and angsty and very agitated and very very powerful and strong. This is not that. It's very whimsical and light and airy, and it's really just been a blast to work on. So this is the Waltz No. 2 by Shostakovich, and this also is a really great arrangement. Really, really cool. James Curnow. Good job, James. Okay. All right. So it's amazing to say, but this is already our last piece, but this is. I don't want to scare you off. It's a little long, but it's not super long. It moves quick. Trust me. So if you're familiar at all with this next piece we're about to play, this is excerpts for band from the masterwork, kind of operatic orchestral work, Carmina Burana by the composer Carl Orff. Now, Orff is actually, and it's in my notes, but I'll say it out loud too. When I first became aware of and interacted with Orff as a person, it was not as a composer. It was as a music educator. And this is really he was a very early known music educator and did a lot for especially young children. So a lot of the things, instruments, when you go into a general music classroom, you see those marimbas. A lot of those were designed and popularized by Orff. So he is, as a music educator, I'm really into that. So it was later when I realized I'd heard this piece of music and never really connected that it was the same person. So it's the Carmina Burana that he wrote this about as I think thousands of poems were found in an old, I think it was in a monastery, and he wrote. There was another thing written about that, and then he wrote music. It's very convoluted, but he ended up writing. Are there 20-some movements total? We're playing 13 of them. So don't run away. It's really not that long. Some of them will be played what we call attacca, which means 2 or 3 together. So if you try to count to 13, it'll be over before you know it, because we won't play 13. It'll be connected. But I think there's a fewer that are played connected, but it's a total of 13. What's interesting about these that they're poems that were found in a monastery, but they're not all religious or spiritual in nature. Some of them are, some of them aren't. There's poems about the Wheel of Fortune, about love, and about an angry kind of priest. There's one that's very famously in a tavern, and you'll notice which one that is. So it's a very varied piece of music, and I think a few groups do this kind of often. Orchestras do with a full choir. It's a really if you get the chance to see it in that setting, it is pretty amazing. But we're just really happy to have the opportunity to do this. This is I don't normally say this, but I will say this time, because you know me, I say whatever. When I told a few colleagues who also conduct community bands in the area that we were doing this, I got some incredulous stares. But I couldn't be prouder of the work that they're doing and just to be associated with them. Here's my quick spiel. This is 12-minute community band. I say this all the time. We're just so pleased to be a part of them. Yes, band is the most important, but really just to have you here as part of our community, to be able to share this art and the community that we built here, but to share it with you as a community is just really why we're here. We would play by ourselves in that basement probably every week and be happy with it, but to be able to share with you is really what we're here for. So hope you enjoy it. It's been a lot of work, but I'm really, really, really pleased to be a part of what they've done, and I hope you enjoy it. This is Carmina Burana by Carl Orff, arranged by John Krance. You'll definitely recognize some of it, though. That's good. you enough for being here. Thank you so much for being here. And really, one more time, these are phenomenal musicians. And just one more time for them. They're fantastic. Yeah, it's a joy for me to be here every Tuesday night with them, and I just had so much fun. This was a lot, and we may have missed a few exits here or there, but that's not important. It really isn't. When I say this a lot, and this is when I get to put the rubber to the road. I always tell my students, and I tell them too. I tell anyone I talk to about this that when this is the most trite academic thing you can say, but it's really true. If you have an honest pursuit of art and you are really, truly, intentionally going for art, there's no such thing as failure. There might be varying degrees of success here and there, but the real joy is just putting yourself into the art and going for it. So they've done that so thoroughly. So I'm really just so proud of them and so proud of this group. And thank you for being here. Thank you so much. A few things. First, make sure you turn everything that's in your folder, with the exception of Elsa, goes in. Okay? And hold on, a few things. Everything with Elsa goes in. Tuesday night we're rehearsing, and if it doesn't work for you, I'll see you when I see you. Where it's, hey, new music Tuesday night, all the stuff to your program. I might be a few minutes late, so you might entertain yourself and work yourself out for a few minutes, but I'll be here close on time.